Today, we've got a great guest for you that we're going to go down to our Placer County Realtor tour and talk to Liz Andersen in regards to what a reverse mortgage is. Oftentimes people say, hey, what does it take to qualify for a reverse mortgage? How old do I have to be? How does it work? What happens when I pass away? What happens when my spouse passes away? How do you actually get one and obtain one? So let's go down and talk to Liz Andersen.
Hello, I'm Eric Hatch with Century 21, your local real estate professional serving Nevada, Placer, and surrounding counties for over 25 years. I have helped hundreds of families find and sell their homes and pride myself on bringing experience, local market knowledge, integrity, and attention to detail to every transaction. Let me help you create your next experience worth talking about.
We're here with Liz Andersen with American Pacific Reverse. Thank you so much for being here. I know that the reverse mortgage industry has gone through so many different changes. So why don't you go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about what is a reverse mortgage?
Wonderful. Thank you, Eric, for having me, first of all. And yes, so reverse mortgage, in our industry, it's called a HECM, a home equity conversion mortgage. So if you hear that, it's the same thing as a reverse mortgage. And what a reverse mortgage is, it's a loan that allows a borrower that's 62 years and older to access the equity in their home without ever having a principal and interest payment. Always responsible still for taxes on the home and homeowner's insurance, must be an owner-occupied property, and you must maintain the home like you would any other home.
Yeah, so I know that my mom has one, and what's so nice about that is that she's able to stay in this house since my father had passed away. So she's able to be there because it's making the payment kind of for her. And so the timing on that is like, when would you consider a reverse mortgage or not a reverse mortgage?
So I will say, and I'm glad that your mom has a reverse mortgage. My parents have a reverse mortgage. I would never ask or tell anybody to get a reverse mortgage if it isn't the right fit for them. So it's all based on goals. What is that ultimate last goal for that client? If it doesn't fit what they're trying to accomplish, then I wouldn't recommend a reverse mortgage. And also, one time I don't recommend a reverse mortgage is for short-term use. I'll be quite honest. It's not a cheap loan to get. It's based for the long haul.
So it's basically for your last house, the last opportunity to live comfortably and not worry about it. Because
Correct.
I would imagine that a lot of people who get a reverse mortgage, whether they're single or they're married and their spouse passes away, then they feel comfortable that they're able to stay in the house as long as they want.
Correct. And it's as long as they want, as long as they meet those 4 requirements, that's what that reverse mortgage is in place for, is pay those property taxes, pay your homeowner's insurance, stay in the home, don't rent it out, it's not for rentals or investment properties, and maintain it. And you can stay there even long after perhaps the value is less than what the balance of the loan is, because there is interest accruing on this loan. So at some point, if that borrower lives long enough, they may beat the actuarial tables based on how reverse mortgages work.
So let's go with that, and because I know a lot of people ask me, well, if my parents get in a reverse mortgage, what happens to the house afterwards? How does that get sold? How does that work?
You know what, that's a great question, and that's a very common question that I get. The way a reverse mortgage works in the end is that we often do ask borrowers or clients, do you have a trust or will in place? So that will be the vehicle to transferring that property to heirs. So what happens in the end, you have a few options. First of all, you can list and sell the property with Eric. Any equity remaining would go to the heirs as a trust or will would read. So that can be put on the market, it could be sold. The other option that they have, let's say it's in an upside down situation, because as I mentioned before, the value might be lower than the balance. So there might be a short sale. That's still a good listing, and it's still something that can happen. The heirs can choose a realtor, it can be sold. There's already predefined knowledge in the paperwork, so it's not as difficult to do.
Okay.
They can also keep the home, so get traditional financing to keep that home in the family if it's important to them to keep it in the family. And typically, the heirs get a 5% discount of what the appraisal is at the time that the last person vacates the home.
I didn't know that. Good.
So, and then last but not least, if they just don't want to have anything to do with the home, they can do a deed in lieu of.
Great. So 62. So if I have a 62 or 65-year-old, one spouse and the other one is 60, any issues with that of one being younger?
We can still do it. One person has to be 62. I will say that the 60-year-old, that younger person, won't be on the loan and won't be on title, but it's still doable, and that other person still has rights to stay in the home if that older person, you know, moves out or something happens to them in the meantime.
Great, fantastic. Liz, thank you so much for sharing that. And how can our audience find you?
You can reach me at, I'll give you my phone number first, it's 916-223-8869, or via email at liz.andersen, Andersen, at A as in apple, P as in Paul, mortgage.com.
Perfect. Thank you very much. You're wonderful. It's a great privilege. I know that what's so awesome about her is that she actually will go out of her way to even come meet with clients, to meet at the house and to meet up with them, to make sure that they feel comfortable about their decision they're making. So thank you for just being the person who you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank
having me.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Nailed it.
That was great.